Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Double Stuffed podcast, where we're double the host, double the topics, and double the fun. I'm Dan.
I'm Charity.
I'm Sarah.
And I'm Alan.
And thank you for joining us on the season 4 finale and the end of 2020 show. Happy New Year, everybody.
I know.
Happy New Year.
We've been doing this for a year, guys. Isn't that crazy?
Just about. We officially started recording it
in January. So yeah, it's been a full year.
So a full year of recording, and then we premiered it in April. So yeah, what a year.
Absolutely.
Thank God it's almost over, but still.
It's been a year.
It has indeed been a year. And, New Year's is definitely one of those times where you reflect back on the old year and look ahead to the new year. So I think we do have some stuff that we definitely want to reflect back on. So before we get into like new resolutions and things like that, besides starting the podcast and the crazy year that we've had, have you had any highlights so far for this year, for 2020?
Highlights.
Yeah.
Good things.
Good things. Anything that stand out?
Thanks for that reminder, Alan, because we were struggling over here.
The fact that was constituted as a joke kind of sums up the whole year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I've said this in other episodes. The highlight has actually been working on this podcast. Not gonna lie, like I said, it's been my sanity for a year. It's been a great diversion for everything that's been going on. It's given us an outlet, which I think is great, because it's great to have something to work on versus just kind of sitting around waiting for something to happen.
Well, and I've gotten to know you guys so much better.
Yeah,
just with all of these podcasts.
That's what I love. It's gone deeper than just two sisters and two coworkers. I think
we're all friends.
Yeah, we actually like each other now. What are the odds?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought we would have gotten along?
I like that now.
Because we
Like we didn't really like each other before, and now it's like, well, now.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
true. Yeah, so that's been the best part, getting to know you guys and putting this together. We've definitely had our share of challenges, but I like the fact that we've been able to overcome them and work through them and put together a show that not only we enjoy, but hopefully the listeners enjoy it as well.
Yeah, man, it's hard to beat. I guess I'll just go for something less more superficial, I guess, would be my smoking meat game is on point. I've
Yes.
learned how to smoke brisket so well. That's all I think about.
As someone who has tasted it, I will confirm
contend.
this
Yes.
statement. Yes.
Yes. And then I've gotten into a lot of projects around the house. One of the things that I really enjoyed doing this year was to build my own workbench instead of, getting one from a big box store or buying one from off of someone else like eBay or something like that. I actually built one. So I'm feeling very, very dad this year. Very dad. So my barbecue game is up. My woodworking game is up. My projects are definitely
On the
moving.
up and
Yeah, they're moving out of. Well, let's bring it back to. I'm a blue belt dad. I'm not a black belt dad yet, but I'm moving up the ranks.
I would say a couple highlights for me this year. Earlier this year, one of my best friends got married, which is really cool.
Yay, marriage.
So we've been friends since 2004. And when she was planning her
Congratulations.
wedding and everything, congratulations to her. Well, to both of us since we've been friends, but
Congratulations to a relationship.
I was congratulating her marriage.
Sure.
Anyway,
Yeah, I get you.
yeah. So when she was planning her wedding, at the whole start of COVID and stuff,
Oh yeah.
it was just sort of up in the air. Like, is she going to be able to do this? How is everything going to happen? But, it turned out it was a lot smaller than what she planned, but it turned out very well. And I was very happy to be a part of that. I was one of her bridesmaids. And so that was a highlight this year. Moving later on down the year, skipping all the lockdown stuff, I would say that some of my video editing projects have improved.
Oh,
Absolutely.
There's
I love Just Us Cookies.
good.
Yay.
Now, funny enough, Justice Cookies was sort of an accidental project. It was
That
supposed
was.
to be just Sarah and I posting a funny video.
And it turned to a series of its own, which is kind of odd.
And that Sarah was talking about the podcast getting her through lockdown and everything. And that was sort of like my project of video editing, that was my personal thing of, how about we just do something fun? We're at home, we're stuck here, let's at least make the best of it. And so that was something we could do on the podcast.
Yeah.
But later on, like in the fall, we started getting some new clients and some projects and stuff. And so I've actually been very happy with how those projects have turned out. And I've actually surprised myself, because there's a lot of things that I didn't get to learn in school. And I've either had to teach myself or trial and error or YouTube videos or whatever. And so now I feel like the certain things that I've made for the clients have actually turned out really well. And so I'm quite proud of myself for how that turned out this year.
That's awesome. That's great.
What about you, Dave?
Yeah, for me, I mean, I started a new job, moved to a new
Yeah.
state, and there's been good things about that, and there's been challenges about it. So it has definitely been a pretty wild 2020 for everybody, I think. And so then looking forward, then, which we all like to do, right? 2020 is going to be in the rear view, and 2021 is going to be a whole different
Sky's the
ballgame.
limit.
That's right.
Yeah.
Have you set any resolutions going into 2021? Do you like the idea of New Year's resolutions? If you haven't,
I don't know if I've really set resolutions per se. I mean, I have a lot of goals I would like to achieve, which maybe
That's
could be
sort
the
of the
same
same
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
You can
But-
just recycle what you didn't do this year.
Yeah,
Sure.
pretty well.
To
I think
redo.
we all need to recycle. What I had a lot of goals I was going to do this year that
I wanted
obviously
to
didn't.
travel. Well,
yeah.
2020 said no.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. My cruise canceled.
my round the world trip. What
That's
the heck?
right.
Mm.
But I mean, there are a lot of goals I want to achieve, but a lot of that I'm in the process of working on them now. So it's not like it's not like I'm starting from square one, but I definitely want to advance. So, of course,
Well,
My
are you
artistic stuff
are you building on what you've already worked on, or are you going to
I'm-
try something new?
I'm all for trying something new, but at the moment, I think I do want to just improve on what I've been doing.
Sure.
So, in terms of maybe being more efficient in the editing and the graphics, and like I said, bringing back to the podcast, that has actually helped me be more efficient because I've learned to edit so much faster
Right.
doing our promos and making the graphics.
Well, it's nice to
And
work
all
on
that
a
kind of stuff.
project when you don't have the stress of like a boss looking over your shoulder. Like,
Yeah.
if you mess up on a graphic, Alan and I and Dan aren't going to be like, you're a failure at life, but
Yeah.
like it's a more relaxed
Yeah.
project, so you can actually relax and learn and
Well-
improve without being intimidated.
And I can experiment. You can't always do that with client work.
That's right.
So with stuff like this, we're able to play around with ways we want to do the format of the show or how we want to edit certain things. And
Mhm.
and the cool thing is that some of that has actually taken notice. I know back in September we celebrated International Podcast Day, and our show got to be showcased in one of their videos, which was really
Yeah, that was
cool.
really cool.
Because that for 2020 their shows or their virtual event, 26 countries participated in that. That's thousands and
So
thousands of
26
people.
countries saw our little podcast from Wichita.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Mark Stedman from Podiant, hopefully I'm saying that right, he complimented us on our bubble promos. He said that was really unique, and he really liked that idea of something different than just the typical audiograms you see for the podcast. So we actually got a legit
I like the
yeah.
bubble.
Well, good.
Mhm.
They're fun. It was partially Charity's idea. I had
Oh,
originally.
thank you for giving me credit. I was wondering if you were going to give me a shout out. I was giving you that side eye, like,
Girl,
Like, I
we're
wonder how
making
she got that idea.
ladies, we're making resolutions.
I resolved.
Positive.
I resolved to give Charity partial credit for this.
oh, okay, thanks. I'll take my 50% where I can get it.
I had originally made the promos having our names on the. So we already had text, but Charity had suggested having thought bubbles or talking bubbles rather. In between, so we can
Mhm.
differentiate between.
Well, and that goes
us.
with the logo that you had created already, so
Yeah.
it kind of worked out nicely.
So, but it's cool. We got to put our creativity and our specialities in this show, and I like I said, I've enjoyed that a lot. It's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Alan, any resolutions for you? Do you make resolutions?
One of the
typically?
things that I have, one that I kind of started last year, but I want to continue is trying to learn Spanish, which I studied in high school, and I'm pretty good as far as understanding when it's being spoken, and I can jump in with very broken Spanish, but I'd like to be more efficient in it. So I started listening to our local Radio Lobo here in Wichita.
I didn't even know we
And-
had that.
Oh yeah. We have La Raza, we have Radio
I
Lobo.
wish there was a French version.
No, we don't have.
Charity's like
we
that with
don't have a
French.
French version. But anyway, so I've been listening to a lot of Spanish radio. It's so much so that the that the girls, as soon as they get into the car, can we listen to something in English? And So I've been taking it in. The problem is that radio is probably not the. Let me just say, what I learned from the radio gets me in trouble with my wife as far as like
like
what to
slang
say.
and
Yeah,
stuff
the
like that.
slang and go.
Ah,
So it's probably not the best way. So, but one of the things that I would like to do in 2021 is to not only just listen to Spanish radio, but I'd also like to start watching more Spanish cinema.
Yeah.
So both from Spain, South America, Mexico, Central America as well. I'd like to watch not just documentaries, which I think that we've all seen foreign documentaries, but really getting into their filmmaking.
That's a great, yeah.
So that's something that I'd like to do.
a good way to help with that, because what I've been doing with French, I can watch something on Netflix, and I'm pretty good at understanding when someone's talking to me. I'm also pretty good at reading. Speaking is still very difficult and like trying to find
Yeah.
the words. But if I watch something in French and I'm able to read the French
Right.
subtitles, I can still understand what they're saying in English.
Right. Yeah.
So Netflix is really good because
They
you can
are.
do that in multiple
And
languages.
there's a really good Netflix Spanish movie. I don't know where it comes from, but it's a version of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and it's really good. It all takes place around a cruise ship.
Nice. And Netflix does actually have a lot of Spanish language programming that they do
Mhm.
between TV series and movies that are really good. So that's a great way to. Too bad. Do they have a lot of that in French, Charity, as well?
I've had to stick with children's shows for a while. Sarah laughs at me because I watch a lot of Peppa
Little
Pig.
Prince.
She does. No, she watches a lot of Peppa
I
Pig.
have graduated from that. I can watch certain movies. The problem with French movies that I found is a lot of them are dirty, and so
Ah,
I'm
Yeah.
trying to.
that's the same thing
Yeah.
that I struggle
so I'm
with.
trying to watch it for educational purposes, but it's very hard
Yeah.
to
Oh
concentrate.
no, you get schooled quickly.
Yeah.
I will let you-
Well,
Yeah.
certain things there's no language barriers. Like I know what's happening here. I
Right.
don't need a translation. So
Well, that's
Um,
kind of what happens with me.
yeah.
So my wife's excited that I'm, learning Spanish
Mhm.
and having integrating it into our spoken language.
mhm.
But
it's just rated
it's
R. Rated
yeah,
R.
exactly. It's just like you shouldn't say that. Why not? Because you shouldn't say
So
that.
just trust me.
That's great.
Well, moving to answer your question, Dan, since we were talking about language, one of my goals is to be able to speak it well and not just understand it and read it. So I hope to become better in French, something that I'm specifically working on. There's a lot of French words that sound the same. It's like that in English too. But like, for example, the French word for farmer and the French word for nurse sounds very similar. And so I was trying to talk to my teacher in French and I was like, oh yeah, my friend's a farmer. And she goes, oh, where does she live? I was like, oh, she works in Newton or whatever. And she was like, she works at a hospital farm? Like she didn't understand what I was trying to say.
Uh-huh.
And so it's just, there's a slight pronunciation difference or whatever.
Sure.
So just
Yeah.
learning the differences in words and being able to speak it. Something else I do want to do next year, though, I'm planning to move out finally and get my own place. And I've already started preparing for that. So
Whoa.
those are my two big
Yeah.
things for
In
next year.
London?
Oh, gosh, I
Oh.
wish. No, let's start with Wichita first.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
Work
then
our
I'll
way.
make
Baby
my way-
steps.
Yeah,
Baby
yeah.
steps. Gotcha.
Speaking of, I'll say one more thing and then we'll change topics. You said I didn't, Alan, you had mentioned in terms of goals that has something like I've never done before, something new.
Skydiving.
Oh, are
Well-
you going skydiving?
well,
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh wow!
I
I
would
was
go-
about to be very
I
proud of
would
you
go
because that's
skydiving if
something
I
that
had the
terrifies
opportunity.
me.
Sarah,
We went parasailing. That's probably the closest high that I'll probably do.
Yeah. But
Well-
I'm going to die.
Like I said, in a controlled environment, I'm okay. So free falling, I've seen enough cartoons to know how that works.
There's a guy that does. I don't know what kind of contraption it is, but you have like a giant fan on your back, and then you do
Yeah.
the parachute. You can,
oh, like the jetpack thing?
Oh.
It's not a jetpack; it's a fan. But anyway, every once in a while we're going up 37th Street or 45th Street up to take the girls to school, there's a lot of like cornfields that are out there,
Oh.
and there's this guy, and he'll go flying around, and our joke is that as he's doing it, he's just shouting, you can achieve your dreams.
I've seen that. There's a guy out there in it's like northeast Wichita, where I've seen the one where he has like a cart. It's almost like a go kart type thing with
That's
like a
the
big
guy.
yeah, and then like a
That's-
parachute, not parachute,
That's
but
where
like
my
a
girl's school is.
yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
You can achieve your dreams.
That's very Acme to have something like that.
I wonder if it's the same guy as the unicycle. There's a guy in a full 3-piece suit riding a unicycle, walking his dog while eating a hot dog.
Wow.
That guy sounds like he has enough going on.
Yeah, he's achieved his New Year's
Yeah,
resolution.
okay. So now he's just trying other things.
Well, in that case, mine doesn't hold candle to that.
That's right.
How about a hot dog?
I can at least do that. No,
Dan, did you have any New Year's resolutions?
I mean, mine is kind of like work related or sort of like podcast work related as well. And it's just working more on audio editing, sound design, and, like learning new techniques and systems and things like that. So I'm kind of already getting a jump on it, now, but that is something I want to do going into 2021, which sort of brings me to like my next point. Typically if we think about something like if we want to start an exercise regimen or a diet, we're always like, oh, I'll start that Monday, right? Like that just seems like, do we do the same thing then with New Year's? I mean, is it just a matter of like, it's a convenient point in the nearish future that we can be like, I'll change tomorrow?
Yeah, of course. That's exactly it. What can be done tomorrow, or what's the saying? Why do today what could be done tomorrow, or something like that?
The procrastinator's creed.
That's right.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, companies have cashed in on that. The only decent reasoning, like
maybe that's it.
If we're
it's
talking,
ingrained in us.
Yeah, if we're talking about diets and weight loss and stuff, the only reason I can say that January is the magical month is because between October and December, there's so much food and candy and parties and Thanksgiving and Christmas dinners. And if you have a big family, you go to grandma's house and do Christmas dinner there. Then you have your own family dinner, So after Christmas, you've eaten all the food that you can, and then you've eaten all your leftovers. So come January, you're like, okay,
I got to start over.
Yeah, like my fridge is clean. I've eaten all the turkey sandwiches I can. All the ham's gone. All the fruitcake's gone. Like now I can cleanse and all of that.
Yeah, I got to clean up my life. Super Bowl's coming up.
Yeah.
That's true. You have to purge your body because Valentine's Day is coming.
Valentine's Day. We've got a whole nother year to go.
Yeah, but that's the best time to do it because at least at that point all the food's out of your house. But because of that, companies have cashed in on that fact, and they're like, "Yeah, new year, new you." Like that's the big commercial hashtag and everything.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And as a person that regularly exercises, it's frustrating when the New Year's crowd comes because. I like when I work out. I like being in a place when there's not, because I get really self-conscious when I exercise. I don't like people seeing me on the treadmill because that's not really the most attractive part. You're like, oh, look at you trying to run.
Sarah, they're not looking at you. They have the same thoughts in their head. Please, nobody be looking at me.
And there's so many mirrors at the gym that you can't look at someone else because you're constantly looking at you the whole time.
But it's just so crowded there, and I don't like working out when there's like so many humans.
You should just do like me. Don't work out.
Exactly.
To take it after the two married guys. It's like, I don't have to impress anybody anymore. This is just me.
This is as good as it's going to get.
So besides resolution,
you see what you do now is
that's
work
why
out.
we do a podcast.
So nobody has to see.
Nobody can see. Anyway, that about sums it up.
So besides resolutions, since we've already talked about that, are you looking forward to doing anything next year? Or do you have any plans? I know things are, say if things get to some semblance of normal, do you have any plans that you want to do?
I'd like to, we do our typical right around the 4th of July, we'll go to a national park for a week. And I'd like to get back into that. Obviously, we couldn't do it last year. So, yeah, we usually do one big kind of camping meetup with our friends from California. So we got a couple of families in California and then us from Kansas. And we usually meet up somewhere around like Colorado. Yeah, New Mexico and things like that.
Very cool. Very cool.
I'm looking forward to meeting famous people. So I want to keep
Shoot for the moon.
Oh, I'm shooting for the stars. That's what they are, right? Movie stars, and celebrities. But so this sounds odd. It sounds weird saying it in public because I always keep this to myself or say it amongst family members. But I have a really deep desire of building relationships with people in the industry, both in the art industry and the entertainment industry, comedians, actors, stuff like that. And I would love to be able to be in a situation where I can be able to do that. And so it sounds weird. I'm keeping my schedule open, but I sort of kind of am, if that makes sense. So I mean, I'm still gonna live my life the way I need to for the time being. But
You're going to
when-
become a stalker?
I think that's
I think that's what you're describing.
I think that's called
She's
face.
already got her like bush outfit ready, like leaves and sticks and stuff, just sitting in someone's yard. There's George Clooney.
I think the correct
It's like
term
a
is
ghillie
Facebook
suit?
networking.
Oh,
right?
okay.
I'm researching using social media.
I've only gotten 1 or 2 restraining orders. It's not that bad.
Yeah, but they autographed it, so
I did get their signature.
did get
They had to sign it.
but I'm looking forward to being in a situation. You guys are terrible.
All right.
Sarah the
I
Creep.
didn't know James
strikes
Corden
again.
could run so fast. He surprised me.
I had this visual. But yeah, I do plan on hobnobbing. I think
There you
I'm looking forward to that. And then I'll be like, and then I could do my little speech, for all the little people that helped me get to where I am today.
Oh, is
So
that
now
us?
she's winning
Oh,
an
wow.
Oscar.
I've already won an award already, so I'm just trying to practice for when I move my way up.
She's on the red carpet talking to movie stars. Did you know I made an award-winning documentary?
Scratch that, Dan. I got a new resolution. I want to join the NFL. Quarterback.
I know, like Sarah should have ended this segment because now what am I gonna say?
Yeah, what are you gonna? I mean, I know you're planning on moving
wanna be a-
to your own place. What else are you gonna
Yeah.
do?
That's true. And then we can record the podcast in my mansion.
There you go.
And this is just getting bigger and bigger.
I love it. I love it.
So yeah.
Okay.
Something that I want to do. I was going to say participating in live events like concerts and music
Yeah.
fest and
Yeah.
theater, stuff like that. Because I didn't realize until this year, and I've said this before, I didn't realize how often I listen to music and look forward to those events. And one of my favorite things I do every year, I love Straight No Chaser. They're an a cappella group.
Fellow Hoosiers.
Yeah, they started off at Indiana University, but they're usually around Wichita or somewhere in the Midwest in the fall, winter time. And so usually around my birthday or closer to Christmas time, I'll go to one of their concerts.
Uh-huh.
And like, that's just something I've done for the past, I don't know, almost 8 years or so. Like,
It's been a while.
yeah, like even in college, I would go to one of their concerts. And so looking forward to hopefully doing live events next year if everything
Yeah.
goes according to plan and the virus, gets back down. So it's not hobnobbing with movie stars, but I do want to do live performances and stuff again.
We have got to meet Straight No Chaser though.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
so we're working our way. We start out in our hometown of Indiana.
That's
Then we
right.
work our way to Hollywood and
That's
then
right.
to London and then every place.
Well, I
There you
would
go.
love to be in a recording studio and while they're making like an album and doing their audio for them. So Straight No Chaser, if you're looking for an audio engineer,
Oh yeah.
I'm available.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I'm looking forward to doing more podcasting with the three of you. So I think we have a good.
Oh,
You're
Danny.
Wow.
Oh, that Louis almost got me emotional. That is so sweet.
Okay, before Sarah cries,
So-
do you
No,
want
I'm
to
not gonna cry. Now
wanna
I'm
take us
just-
out here, Dan?
Yeah, so we're gonna go ahead. We do want to thank everybody though for listening to us. I know that we've
Absolutely.
you've shared the podcast with friends. You've talked with us on Twitter, and we really appreciate that and hope that you'll join us next year as we continue this journey. Thanks for listening. You can find other episodes on doublestuffpod.com or your favorite podcast app. You can also join in the fun on social media on Facebook and Instagram at Double Stuff Podcast and on Twitter at Double Stuff P, as in the letter P.